Starbucks has revolutionized the way that we order and receive our coffee today. They've also made groundbreaking innovations in the coffee and restaurant industry that I plan to discuss in today's video. I'm also going to be sharing the potential new innovations that could be huge growth drivers in the next 10 to 20 years for the Starbucks Corporation. I'll also be sharing some of the issues that are plaguing Starbucks right now and have led to the decline of the stock price and some of the qualitative measures that people are downgrading. As you guys know, I am the Starbucks cult leader on the channel, and if you do own any Starbucks, you are obligated to subscribe right now. Alright, let's get on to the video though. Venti Visa Vici. Venti Visa Vici. Venti Visa Vici.
Hello? I like money.
Now that we have our ritual out of the way, let's talk a little bit about what makes Starbucks so special compared to other restaurants and more specifically coffee shops. Number one, the people. I listened to a Howard Schultz interview with Inquired, and it was an absolutely insane video. You guys have to go watch it. Thank you to Arya for recommending this to me, and that's where I actually got the inspiration to make today's video. I think that Starbucks is really unique by the way that it treats its partners compared to other restaurants. One of the biggest takeaways I had from the interview was how Starbucks was really built up and how the brand was built. And it was built on the backbone of its customers and partners. Their philosophy is if you have happy partners and happy employees and happy customers, it creates a great environment that people will continue coming back to. And more importantly, focusing on quality and offering an irreplaceable experience to customers. It appears that recently Starbucks may have lost that way, and that's something that Howard Schultz also mentioned in the interview, and he's confident they will fix it. So for you long-term investors who sold out of the stock suddenly because of one bad earnings report, there you go. As we know, the stock market can often make irrational decisions, especially with short-term sentiment. And I believe that the unions of Starbucks that I've talked about continuously on this channel, Starbucks playlist, go check it out, are very stupid compared to the value that a Starbucks offers their employees, especially compared to other part-time jobs that those employees would have to go to other than Starbucks. Let's just say that you're 17 years old, you want to get a job, and you go to Starbucks. You get above average minimum wage pay, healthcare, stock options. They literally will pay for your college as well, 401k, partner and family support, and so many more perks. Now, where I think that the Starbucks unions are completely out of line is when you compare these benefits to the similar jobs that other teenagers or people that are working a barista job would have elsewhere. Frankly, for a job that a high schooler can do, you shouldn't be expecting full-time pay and full-time benefits, especially considering the benefits and pay you already get is way above average. Now, a big reason that Starbucks was really targeted was the way their business is modeled. It's unlike McDonald's and where it's not a franchisee and where it kind of depends store to store. So they can unionize against the one big corporation where it's not susceptible to a company like McDonald's. Now, one of the ways that Starbucks really revolutionized the restaurant industry and more specifically fast food is their mobile app, which was absolutely game changing. Now, from what I heard from Howard Schultz, it appears that Starbucks didn't take full complete advantage of this, even though it's still an amazing asset that they have, and that's one of the reasons we're on the short-term struggles right now. But it's such a valuable asset and it's such a big value driver that Starbucks has that I think really is going to propel to some long-term growth. The Starbucks app essentially lets you pay on your phone, which is much easier than just doing cash or a credit card. All they got to do is scan it. Essentially, every time you make an order, you accumulate stars, and you can use that star to get free coffee or beverage. But the stars are not really much of a loss for Starbucks. It's not some amazing benefit either. You do got to spend quite a bit of money to actually get a free item. So it's not like Starbucks is pissing away free rewards. People can pay for their coffee. They can link their credit cards like a Visa card, where Visa actually takes a bit of a processing fee, shout out Visa, or they could buy gift cards, and Starbucks offers double stars and double rewards that you would typically get if you were to use the Visa card. Now, why is this? This is actually something I learned on the podcast, but essentially, Starbucks will save so much money from that Visa fee where they can offer double stars for people to get the gift cards, where Starbucks can get more money basically just to borrow. Starbucks essentially will take the money that is loaded on the app and they can hold it in cash basically as an interest-free loan, which is why in a time of high interest rates right now, Starbucks is actually benefiting a lot. And believe it or not, Starbucks actually holds way more cash than some banks in the world, and it's actually insane. Starbucks can do a lot of things with this cash. They can really do anything. Most of it goes towards capital expenditures, building new stores, growing their business, buying back shares potentially, or paying juicy dividends to investors like me and you. This is one-of-a-kind business model, and their Starbucks Reward members and app is growing every day, and it had crazy growth last quarter, which I think was overlooked. Now, in a time right now, and especially in the economy where inflation is absolutely ridiculous, it can be hard to sell a $5 or $6 cup of coffee. You saw that in the last earnings report. Starbucks is not selling so much coffee and drinks right now, mainly because of inflation, but also pricing power. They kind of limited themselves. Now, what Starbucks is doing with the app is completely full circle as well. Starbucks has enough data to really show enough about their customers, what time they're coming to stores, and stuff that just small coffee coffee shops don't have. Another advantage of holding Starbucks. But right now, especially with reward members and seeing how accretive that is to their business overall, they're offering special deals that non-reward and non-app members do not get access to. For example, new members get 50% off a handcrafted drink. Really good savings. It's also been shown that Starbucks reward members come to stores a lot more often and a lot more frequent than non-reward members. So as Starbucks continues to accumulate new reward members and growing that program, their repeat sales are only going to increase in stores. And this is something that helps a lot during a time like inflation. As I mentioned, Starbucks has an insane amount of data on customers and what time they're coming into stores. That's something that they've seen in the most recent quarters is customers not coming into stores as much in the afternoon. So what they're doing to combat this is offering special, really actually solid deals to come into the afternoon. For example, last Sunday on Father's Day, it was buy one, get one free through 12 through 5 o'clock, aka when the stores are least busy. You're going to come to Starbucks to get your caffeine fix in the morning, that's for sure. Well, what's going to incentivize people who already have got their caffeine fix in the morning to come back to Starbucks, maybe get something to eat, or get more caffeine? A special deal. Now, something else that is an extreme asset to Starbucks is some of the unique seasonal drinks that they have. Now, this is something that I believe leads to a reoccurring revenue stream and consistent reoccurring demand. People are emotionally attached to these products and they're going to pay a big price for them. That leads to a lot of margin pricing for Starbucks. Now, we'll get on the topic of pricing power because that's been a huge topic for the company in the last year. They're also making the time frames for these holiday drinks much wider so they can kind of milk that. Obviously, the fall and the holiday themed drinks are probably the two biggest themes that they have, which makes up about half the year. Combined with those two, you have August, September, October for the fall drinks, November, December, and they run through January now for the Christmas drinks. And Starbucks will also aesthetically design their store to make it a different kind of experience. It's something that kind of switches up every year, and I think it's overall a great thing to lead to a reoccurring customer. Starbucks has also seen recent great success with their lavender drinks, which is like a spring theme. Now, in the recent earnings report, one big takeaway that I had was that they were seeing as much success with these as they were with the pumpkin spice drinks, which is absolutely giant. More reoccurring revenue and potentially a new staple for Starbucks over the long term. Right now, inflation is one of the hardest things that Starbucks is kind of dealing with. It's hard to sell $4 or $5 coffee at a time where inflation is absolutely ridiculous. Now, something that Starbucks is doing to combat this, once again, I mentioned the deals that they're doing on the app, the buy one, get one, the 25% off drinks, etc. If this is Starbucks' hidden way of decreasing prices, I'm all here for it. You're seeing companies like Target that are decreasing prices and kind of biting the bullet, but hopefully that will lead to an increase in volume that will eventually make up for that lost revenue. A lot of people right now are also shitting on Laxman Naramashiran, the CEO, after a really solid start to his tenure, until the recent earnings report. Now, Laxman was handpicked by Howard Schultz and actually had a year and a half under him to kind of study him and how he ran Starbucks. Howard Schultz is a man that obviously loves Starbucks. It is in his blood, but he has said repeatedly he is not coming back to the company anytime soon. He handpicked Laxman, and I'm sure the confidence is still there from him. Starbucks also has a huge amount of potential in China, as we know, and that's going to be a huge part to their success in the next 10 to 20 years. Starbucks is also making innovations with AI and automation. Now, I think it's a bit overblown, but they're definitely going to be using robotics and more automation technology to make their stores more efficient. This is part of their triple shot reinvention plan that they reinstated about 2 years ago. Starbucks definitely does have some very real risks in the short term right now, but as a long-term investor, I believe right now is a solid opportunity to pick up an amazing quality company, one of the strongest brands in the entire world. Now, this was a bit of a video on my bull thesis on Starbucks, more of the qualitative perspective on it. If you appreciate this, go check out my other Starbucks videos. The link will be in the description for an entire playlist of me rambling about why I love the company. Thank you guys for watching. Smash the like and subscribe and do dividend stocks, not drugs. Have a good one.